Today, I'm diving into the Apple Podcast marketing tools. These little known tools are a great way to boost your content with custom assets and links. And as we all know, growing your show on Apple Podcasts is the most important factor for determining the long-term success of your podcast. And we're rolling. What up, guys, and welcome to Clipped, a show designed to help you become a better, more efficient podcaster. My name is Eric. I'm your host and founder of the Podcast Haven. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I want to thank you for all your support. The show is growing, and I appreciate all the positive feedback. I'm dropping this short podcast into your feed today as a bonus episode because several days ago, I actually discovered these really cool promotional tools from Apple Podcasts that I had no idea existed. I'm in several podcast groups, Facebook, Reddit, and in some online communities, and no one has ever mentioned this. And so I got excited about it and wanted to share it. So here we are. These promotional features are great for driving people to listen to your show on Apple Podcasts, which is the most important platform for determining the success of your show. And many people may argue with me on that one and say that Spotify is the number one platform. But from all the data I've seen, Apple is king. So you want to push your audience to listen to your podcast via Apple. And these tools that I'm about to mention are a great way to really drive your listeners to listen to your show on Apple Podcasts if they aren't already. There's three main features that I want to share. The first is the Apple Podcasts social media post generator. A lot of you guys are probably creating graphics in Canva to promote your podcast, or Headliner or Wave, where you can create audiograms and other types of social media graphics. Well, Apple Podcasts actually has a tool for this, and it's like an automated process, which is really cool. So you're going to want to go to tools.applemediaservices.com. Again, that's tools.applemediaservices.com. You're going to click on podcasts in the top right corner, and that's going to take you to the page where you can access these features that I'm about to talk about. So yeah, number one, the social media post generator. This is a great way to drive social media buzz and encourage sharing of your podcast among your audience on the different social media platforms. Hopefully, you're going to generate new listeners for this. And since this is all within the Apple ecosystem, ideally, it's going to drive those listeners to listen to your show on Apple. But with this tool, you can generate customized posts to promote the podcast as a whole and to promote individual episodes. And so once you get on that website, tools.applemediaservices.com, you're going to type the name of your podcast in, and it's going to come up. Now, ideally, it comes up. If it doesn't come up, that's a problem. I don't know why it wouldn't come up, but if it doesn't, you're in trouble. I don't know why the hell it would do that, but you need to get your show on Apple if it's not already. So once you get up and running on the site, it's going to take you to a page where you can customize a design for either your show as a whole or individual episodes. And what's really cool is that you can do this in three different sizes. You can do it in vertical, you can do it in square, and you can do it in widescreen. Of course, the vertical is great for Instagram stories. The square size graphics are great for Instagram posts, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And the widescreen is great for YouTube. My personal favorite is the vertical for Instagram stories, because on Instagram stories, you can actually share a link as well. So you can create one of these and link to the specific episode that you're promoting, or if you're just linking to the podcast as a whole, you can do that. But anyway, to customize your design, it's going to give you a few options. It's going to have your artwork on there, and then you can change the color, the background of the graphic. Now, keep in mind, this is relatively simple, and you're not going to be able to, you can't add images to it or trick this out in like a super fancy way if you're like a designer. But it is cool. It looks great. It has your artwork on there. You can change colors, and you can put headlines. And what I mean by headlines is there's a drop-down menu, and there's different headlines that you can put. For example, if it's a trailer, you can select trailer, and it'll label this graphic as a trailer. If it's a brand new episode, you can select new episode, and that will come onto the graphic along with the name of the podcast or the podcast episode. If it's a bonus episode, which is what this is, you can select bonus. And I'm actually, when I'm done with this, going to make a graphic to promote this. So if you are already following the podcast, check me out on social media. It's at the Podcast Haven on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. That's at the Podcast Haven. This is also going to go up on YouTube as just an audio format. And you'll be able to see like the widescreen of this graphic that I'm currently making on the Apple Podcast Promote site. There's other headlines too, like special guest, if you have a special guest, featured guest, just different things that you can choose from. Again, it's not like super artistic, but it looks clean. It's all that you really need, and it gets the message out for what you're promoting. Then the other feature that's really cool is the embedded Apple Media Players. And I know there's nothing new about like embedding a media player onto your website or into your email list, but this is cool because it's branded with Apple. And you can change the height and the width of it, the look of it, the color of it. And this is also a great way for people to listen to your show on Apple. So if you do have a newsletter or a blog or whatever you do to promote your podcast outside of social media, anywhere that you can embed a media player, like on Medium, the blog site, Medium, that's a great place to do it. I believe you can embed media players onto Facebook for posts. So also a really good idea. I think it's definitely worth looking into. This is the Apple Podcast Player. Within that, there's also buttons that you can put on your website and badges with the Apple app icon. The icon that you've probably seen, it says listen on Apple Podcasts. So you can download these. You can also embed these icons. People click on these and it takes them to your show. And then lastly is the QR code, which I know there's nothing new about QR codes either, but you can generate a QR code. People can scan it and that'll take them to your show on Apple Podcasts. So really, probably the main feature that I'm going to be using, at least at this point, is the social media post generator. I think that's cool. I also use Headliner and I use Wave and I use Canva, but this is just another tool to have in the arsenal. I like to try different things, different types of graphics on different social media sites at different times and different places, yada, yada. I think it's just good to have different tools in the playbook for promoting. And I'm always trying to drive people to Apple. I hope this show gets featured eventually. That way we can grow at a more rapid pace. Maybe you have like the embedded player from your host, maybe from Libsyn or Buzzsprout. The Buzzsprout one looks great. Or Spreaker or whatever it is. Maybe you're not getting a lot of hits on it. Maybe you try something new and maybe you get more eyes and ears on these Apple players. Whatever it is, I think it's just important to always keep looking for new things, new ways to grow your audience and grow your podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Do me a favor and head on over to Apple and give the show a follow. Would love to get a review from you. If you're feeling the show, give us a 5-star review. If you think we can improve, let us know. Email us at info@thepodcasthaven.com. Happy to get a dialogue going. Happy to give you tips about your podcast. Myself and the team at the Podcast Haven has been in the podcast game for the past 7 years. So we know a lot about the podcast industry. We know how to produce, edit, and mix great content. So if you have any questions or you're looking for a podcast production agency to help you grow, happy to talk to you and see if we may be a good fit. Also, check us out on YouTube. These episodes are now going up on YouTube. Soon we're going to have video. I'm working on that right now. They're just going up in audio format. Also, check out the blog, thepodcasthaven.com/blog. A lot of good articles there about everything from pre-production, production, post-production, how to launch a show, how to brand it, how to market it. So a lot of good tips and education there. And then lastly, we have an ebook on Amazon that I wrote. It's called The 4 Pillars of Podcasting. That's going to take you from idea through launch. It's free some days. Some days I run promos. Some days it's just a couple bucks. If you want to make sure you definitely get it for free, head on over to thepodcasthaven.com and sign up for the mailing list, and you'll get it free in your inbox. That's it for me today, guys. Give it a go.